Hello everyone, Nigel Saunders here of KW Bonsai. Today we're going to be repotting our small leaf linden tree. This tree's been in this pot for so long ago that I can't remember. I think it's been in this pot for probably 5 or 6 years. And it was put in this pot because originally it was a taller tree and it kind of died back the top. So I put it in a training pot, this deep training pot, and kind of just left it grow and recover and gain its strength. And it's doing that now. It's growing really vigorously. The front we picked for the tree, I've moved the marker from the soil up to this branch. So that's approximately the front of the tree that we picked in the last video. So let's get the tree out of the pot and see what's been happening all these years in this big deep training pot. It's coming out. Whoa, that's a heavy pot. Let's move that away. There we go. So it looks like this training pot's kind of been flaking away on the inside here, and it looks like we've got lots of roots in our root cube, I'll call it this time. Looks like a Borg spaceship or something. So let's start combing them out. I think we'll use the larger root rake on this tree at first. We've got a lot of mix of fine roots in here and some coarse ones. I guess we'll know as we get down more towards the bottom of this root cube what's going on really. For the amount of years this tree's been in this training pot, I'm surprised it's not, more packed with roots. Wasn't totally pot bound or anything. There's lots of room for roots to still grow in this soil. But it looks like the soil is a fairly organic soil, which may be part of the problem, is that it just didn't get enough drainage in it, because the soil does seem quite compacted and it's very wet. However, we'll fix that. We'll get it into some really good soil. I notice that pot doesn't have the best drainage in the world anyway. It's doesn't have a lot of drainage holes in the bottom. I got most of the root ball combed out now. The tree's looking pretty good. It looks in good shape. Some pretty long roots. So we'll wash the roots off and start our root pruning. I've got the roots washed, so now we're going to get them combed out again, organized and untangled. We're going to start by getting rid of some of these really long roots. Just to make our job a little easier. So we're just going around the edges and getting rid of the really long roots that we know we won't need. And so the tree fits back on the table. Comb them out again. Now we want to start examining them. Come up with a plan of what we're going to do. Okay, so let's start our root pruning. Let's start with this root. We've got one thick root that was cut off, and it divides into two, which is good, but they're not the best flowing pattern. Actually, it divides into three. There's one underneath. I think we'll get rid of this upper one. It's kind of growing out the top of the root, which doesn't look good. And we'll keep our two remaining ones If you can see those. Be nice if there's a root here. There is one here that's growing. We'll let that develop. There's a couple of fine ones here that we'll let develop to get some better surface roots along here so the base of the roots isn't so coarse. We will prune these roots back. I think I'm going to go right back to here. There we go. Now these two roots are kind of equal length. We don't want that, so maybe I'll take this back a little further. There's a root growing from the bottom here we don't need. Take that off. We'll shorten this one up. Maybe even shorter. I think I will. I'm going to take it right back to here. It's just too long. Now let's see what's going on with this one. We got a root that's coming out and then it goes kind of down, which isn't the best. So we'll cut that off shorter to there. And see what's going on with these roots. Looks fine, it just needs to be shorter. So we'll trim that off shorter. There's a root in here that looks okay, nothing wrong with that. Now we've got quite a thick root here. We do have a root above it that would break it up a bit once this thickens up, so I think we'll leave that. Also this one, we're just going to trim off this part of it. We'll keep that, and then we'll prune this one off shorter back to here. This kind of takes a turn, goes straight down. So get rid of that. Then we'll come around. We've got this thick root has a lot of roots coming off it. If our root plane was way down here, you know, it might look okay. I'll have to see. Maybe we should prune the bottom of our roots first here and try and establish kind of a root plane. For starters, on the bottom we have this one that's going in towards the center of the tree that we don't want at all. So just get rid of that. Got a root down low that we don't want. Another one going straight down here we don't want. There's another thick one here going straight down we don't want. Another one here, another one here, another one here, and another one going inside here. Some of these roots can be arranged. This one's going straight down. That one. Okay, that's looking better on the bottom. Let's see how it sits now. So, just looking, we have something hitting in here. We need to prune off some of these lower roots here. Or prune them back. Like that. Also here we've got something strange happening. I think there's a root growing underneath this one. Get rid of that. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, the tree's sitting a little better now. Some of these roots down lower, they're a little low. They're a little low, but I hate to remove them because I don't really have anything else in this area. So we may, you know, be able to grow these surface roots down a little lower and kind of get our root plane more on one plane eventually. There's a root that's kind of crossing here that's a little thick. We're going to cut it off shorter. Get some subdividing there.
And I think the rest of the roots are looking not bad. We just kind of have to do a peripheral prune around the edges to get the tree to fit in whatever pot I can find. So let me find a pot for it.
I'm going to try growing the tree in this plastic sort of, I don't know what it is, a colander or salad spinner or something. It's got lots of holes in the bottom, so it should be really good for drainage, which I think this tree lacked in its other pot. I had a look in the other pot and there are just like 4 smaller holes in the bottom, and I don't think it was enough for this tree. So we can see kind of what roots we need to trim back to get it to fit in the pot. So we're going to start doing that. Trimming back. And most of them are just fine roots out here. So you can just scissor prune a lot of these away. Get rid of a few of these roots hanging down from the bottom too. Yeah, that fits in the pot really nicely. Okay, well, we'll fill her up with soil. We don't need any drainage screens in this pot. And we'll make a little hill and then we'll set the tree on and start positioning it. Let's start getting our mound of soil in here. Holds lots of soil, this. Or medium, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's get the tree and position it. There's a lot of roots I have to sort out here, which I'm doing, making sure they're all going in the right directions. Not crossing each other and growing tangled. That looks pretty good. Now, let's check our height. Front is somewhere over here. So that height looks pretty good there. So we'll go with that. We'll start filling it in. And in the round pot, there's not much we can do about, you know, the position in the pot or anything. It's kind of just a training pot. We put the tree in the middle, give the roots lots of room to grow each side, and you know, someday this tree will go in a nice bonsai pot, but not yet. It's not developed enough. Okay, we'll start working the soil into the roots, getting rid of our air pockets. Some people like growing their trees in colanders. As the roots grow, they kind of reach the edge of the pot where the holes are, or if you have a screen, and the roots kind of dry out at the edge of the pot and die, so it causes the roots to ramify. The tip dies, so you get more roots growing in the interior of the pot. So colanders are a good thing to grow trees in development. If you're trying to grow a fine root structure, they kind of naturally do it. I think this tree will like this new soil. Like it's a new pot with lots and lots of drainage. You can water it lots, fertilize it lots. It won't you know, become too waterlogged or anything. It'll drain really well. Add a bit more soil now. So you can see the height I planted it at. We just have a little bit of the flare showing at the base of the trunk. All the roots that we pruned off are safely below the soil level, which is important so they don't dry out. These plastic colanders don't last long in the sun. They last a couple of years. I get these at like dollar stores and stuff. you know, stores that sell used furniture and that, or not furniture, used clothes and items. You can get these things really cheap, and they work quite well as training pots. So there's kind of the front of our tree somewhere there. So I think the next thing we should give the tree a nice watering and then have a look at it. Okay, let's get the tree watered. And there we go. Well watered. So that's it for today, a short potting video. We're trying to turn our ugly stump into a beautiful tree, and it's slowly getting there. It's looking a little better every year, I think. I think it'll really like this new soil and pot. I think it's gonna grow well this season. So Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.